And we are live. Hopefully things are working correctly. It's been a while since I've done this. New computer set. Let's have a look. Lower than recommended bitrate. Well, how high do you want my bitrate, YouTube? We'll make it higher then, shall we? Let's see if we can do that. Let me just post this on Facebook. Hope everybody is well. We will see if I could even change the bitrate midstream. YouTube's just giving me warnings about quality, so I'm not entirely sure what it wants me to do, but we will be on this very soon. Forgive me for my inability to do these things like a professional. I need to come back to doing these, right? Doing these every couple of weeks, maybe. I don't know. Let's have a look. That should maybe do something. I don't know. We'll see. Hello from Israel. So yeah, hello everybody. I hope everybody is well. Today we are going to be transcribing some Scott Henderson because Scott's new record came out quite recently, and I've just had the opportunity to really start digesting it. It's called Carnival. I will, I'll have that up shortly. I've always been a huge Scott Henderson fan, just an absolutely massive Scott Henderson fan, because I think he's one of those players where you can just immediately identify his sound when he plays, right? He's got a voice on the instrument. So I'm always excited when Scott is releasing music. I'm excited when Scott is playing. In fact, Scott is playing in London, I think in 2 weeks' time, Ronnie Scott's. I live in Scotland, so I'm about, 300 miles away. And I'm travelling down so I can go and see Scott Henderson play. I'm that much of a fan. So really big fan of Scott Henderson. So it's always nice, as I say, to get to listen to some new music from Scott. And in this particular instance, we are. Oh, it's still saying that my bitrate is lower than recommended. Let's just keep boosting it. Let's just go to a silly number, shall we? Hang on, guys. It should just improve the overall quality for you. Let's double it. See if that's too high. We'll see. Anyway, yeah, so huge fan. Happy to hear new music from him. And while I was listening to the new record, I kind of said the same thing to everybody. I was like, yeah, it sounds like more Scott Henderson. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not flying, Luke. I'm coming down on the train with Melissa. First class all the way, buddy. Yeah, so really looking forward to it, mate. And I assume we're seeing you while you're down. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, anyway, so I was listening to the record, more of Scott, and then it got to this track called Green Mansion, and that's Green, Greene, Mansion. And when you hear the playing on it, I think you'll probably make the same assumption that I have. It's, tip of the hat to the great Ted Greene, though I don't think Ted really played like this, but it's got that, solo guitar vibe to it. And I've... So lower bit rate. Fuck's sake. So I've let's try 12,000. We'll get there in the end, mate. Try that. See what happens. Yeah, so this track I heard it and I just immediately thought, oh, this is hauntingly beautiful. That was the first word that sprang into my mind, hauntingly beautiful. And I immediately thought, oh, I've got to transcribe that. I've got to give that a go. So that's what we're going to do today. I will give you a little bit of the intro so we can hear the vibe. Sounds like this. beautiful playing like that, and we're gonna tackle all of it, well as much of it as I think is reasonable. I've got my guitar here for reference, and I've set up a tone on it which I think is similar. So we're going to be working with that, seeing what we can get with that. How's the stream working, Luke? Is it doing what it's supposed to do? It's just saying to me the stream's current bitrate, 16,000 kilobits per second, is lower than the recommended bitrate we recommend, and then I don't get any more information when I click on that. 23. It's saying 23,500. Let's try that. We'll get there, guys. 23,500. This will be because I've switched to 4K resolution, I would assume. So, yeah. So this is my imitation Scott tone. Of course, I'm playing the Sir, and. Going for silly levels of reverb on this. So, oh, you didn't notice any change? YouTube is the worst, mate. YouTube is the absolute worst. So yeah, we're going to be transcribing that. Of course, before we do that, I've got a few things set up that I can do. I also wanted to just promote a couple of things. First of all, of course, if I press this, is my Patreon page. Link in the description. Get access to hundreds of transcriptions that I've done here for YouTube, ear training videos, weekly guided practice routines, private lessons, and much more. Am I seeing the glitches there? I'm not entirely sure if I'm seeing glitches. Who knows? Tell me. I could load this up in my secondary player, and we'll do that. Yeah. So hang on, give me a second. I'll bring this up. And of course, you can also head on over to my Patreon, where I've also uploaded in my store now all of the guitar profiles for all of my books, which is something worth checking out, something that you could check out. Much more. Oh, much more. I might. Yeah, that is glitchy, right? Huh. Fantastic. The bit right I started with was fine. All right, we'll go back to that then. I'll just leave this on screen while I'm sorting that out. We started here. So the reason I changed it was while I was using the preview window in YouTube, when I clicked on quality, I could only go up to 360p. So I thought I should probably see if that was the reason for that. But apparently it wasn't. So yeah, anyway, so Patreon, check out my Patreon page. I'll be uploading this transcription there, of course, once I'm done with it, but I will also be sending this on over to Scott. And I told him it might be a nice thing for him to consider releasing to his loyal fans, his loving, adoring fans, people like myself, because I'm sure they'd enjoy checking it out. And of course, putting some money in Scott's pocket is never a bad thing, is it? Putting money in, when you love an artist, I'll bring my face up for this. When you love an artist, it's like morally correct to support them. If you consume all of their music and you're able to support them, then do so. So, yeah, please do. Just please do. Anyway, so shall we do it? Let's jump in. Let's do it. How's the so the bitrate? I've changed the bitrate now, Luke. What's the quality like? Are you able to view this in 1080? There are private lesson tiers actually, yeah, and they are usually full. Look at you just selling me. Thank you very much, Luke. I do appreciate it. Let's jump on over to this then. I think, yeah, there we go. Boom. My Elgato Stream Deck, which allows me to do things. So I've set up Guitar Pro and I've created a tone in Guitar Pro, which is, I mean, it's not the Scott Henderson tone, but sounds terrible actually, but just something that we can work with that sounds a little bit closer to what Scott's doing. So, of course, I think the first thing that needs to be addressed when looking at the Scott Henderson transcribing this particular piece is it's free time, right? It's totally free time. And the nature of that is notating things in Guitar Pro is a real pain because we have to, it's like the music doesn't exist within bar lengths and yet we need to put it in bars, right? If that makes sense. So I've got better at doing this. Not that I ever struggled with it, but I found better ways to do it in Guitar Pro. Now they've included audio import, so I will show you. The process for that. So what I tend to do when I'm doing transcription like this now, that's free time, is I will go into my file in Transcribe. I still work out of Transcribe, right? But I'm gonna select all of the audio in Transcribe like this. Could have zoomed out, so I selected it faster. And the key thing is I started the audio, or started the selection right at the start of the track. So I cut out the silence, right? Then I'm going to go export sound file, and I'm just going to export a low-res audio file of this. So this is just going to get saved in my Dropbox folder. And then I'm going to come on over to Guitar Pro, and I'm going to bring up the audio import feature. Now the idea here is that if I go and find that file that I've just created, which I saved where? Should be here somewhere. There we go. If I now drag that file into Guitar Pro, I can make a tiny little adjustment. Oh no. Let's pretend we didn't do that. My schoolboy error. Click there. There we go. So now when I press play in the file, it's going to start exactly when the track starts, okay? If that makes sense. And what that's going to allow me to do is, as I say, I'm still going to transcribe using the software Transcribe, but as I work through the file, I'm going to use these sync points in the audio, Guitar Pro at the bottom, to stretch bars and beats in order to get things to line up in the correct form, if that makes sense. Because I'm a notation expert, right? It always feels weird calling yourself an expert in something, right? But okay, I work in the field of notation, and therefore to me, the goal is about having something that looks really good on the page, something that can be interpreted, something that can be worked with. So I want things to look really good on the page, and if that involves me stretching and manipulating the playback audio in Guitar Pro so that play bar moves at the right speed, that's definitely the way you want to tackle free time. But you'll see it as I'm doing it. So let me check out some of these comments. So by the way, I never took the time to send you a message. You should have. Inspired me to start transcribing. Good. And posting it online. That's awesome, dude. That's absolutely fantastic. Everybody should do that. I'm looking at working with Blackmagic Design, the company that make the cameras and the software, and them sponsoring some videos where let's try that again, where I show you how I go about making those videos. So the process of editing the videos, because I use DaVinci Resolve now. I can show everybody my camera rig, and which is Blackmagic cameras. I've been using all of those now for a while. I thought it'd be nice to do like a studio update video of all of the gear that I'm using, and we're working on trying to make that happen. So I can maybe give you some tips on making transcriptions as well. To be honest, the thing that I'm talking about here with the audio import feature, this is integral to the way I make transcription videos now. Not for the manipulation and making the transcription easier. It's when I need to do the on-screen tab, I'm screen capturing from Guitar Pro. So I'm making sure that if the song's slowing up or speeding down, I can just get all of that in the audio import feature. So the playback bar lines up perfectly with the music. So then when I do my screen capture and then line that up with the video, they are going to be perfect, which is saves me a lot of time. Before I was having to do that, the slow way, time stretching my transcription file like 100 different times I was working in Vegas anyway. So considering it, nearly finished the guided practice routine books, thinking of my step forward. Well, Alvaro, your first step might be going and checking out the complete guitar profiles, which are available for all of my books. Maybe you want to go through those books again and get the guitar profiles and work through them that way. They're in my Patreon store, so maybe go and check that out. And if that doesn't suit, then join us over on Patreon. Hundreds of transcriptions, literally hundreds of transcriptions that I've put up there. Ear training videos, weekly guided practice routines. There's I'm recording number 110 tomorrow. I've done 110 of those, one every week for 110 weeks. And, there's always more coming, so do consider it. Let's jump on back here. Okay, so I have talked about the fact that I'm working on an ear training course, and part of that is I'm really getting to grips with a lot of the organisation of the teaching, the pedagogy surrounding ear training. So I'm going to reference things that are appearing in that course despite you having not seen it, but I am going to you'll know what I'm talking about. It will make sense. So the first principle of ear training is single note recognition. Or unison recognition would be another way of putting it. And that's where I consider myself an expert. Well, that and rhythm. Because as a transcriber of guitar stuff, primarily that's what I need to do, right? That's absolutely... Oh, yeah, you could grab that lesson block, Alvaro. And the private lessons with me, that can kickstart things for you. I've got students that have private lessons with me and have gone from being, working full-time in shops, and now they do music, and they're professionally. So not a bad use of your time, if I do say so myself. Anyway, what was I saying there? So what was I talking about? Nope, it's just complete. Oh, yeah, so single note recognition. So the first principle is when I listen to this, he's playing a collection of notes there, right? But I actually only need to be able to identify them one at a time. Now, this is maybe a bad example or a difficult example compared to transcribing like a nursery rhyme. But if I played a nursery rhyme, yeah, we've got a sound here. So if I played... simple melody, right? Happy birthday. Doesn't matter what I play. Simple melody. Is when you hear that da 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 da, you can hear that I've got an accurate representation of that melody in my mind. So if I then went to my guitar to find those notes, I wouldn't be doing this. When that happens, I mean, the reverb's ridiculous for that. When that approach happens, you lose sight of what the melody is. But I've got that melody locked in my head. Starting on a C. Da, ba, 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 ba. So when I find that first note, obviously I know what the melody is, so it makes it a lot easier. But the point is, if I play that melody and I make a mistake, I can hear that it's a mistake. And it seems like a silly thing to point out, but it is important. It's important to note that. So when I look at this, the first melody here, we've got a note. And there's a few things I can comment on, like you can hear tone-wise, it's like a very fat, bassy tone, so I know it's played on a low string, right? The pitch is a G sharp, but it's not or it's definitely this very low. So I will come over to my file and I will put that in, which is here. Turn the guitar profile down. Now, essentially what I'm doing is as you develop your ability to do single note recognition, you improve your ability to hear multiple notes. And I don't mean on top of each other, but I mean in a linear form. So you might need to spend a load of time practicing hearing that note and then confidently finding it on your instrument. I should be clear, finding it, not knowing where it is, but finding it. And then that becomes, when I listen to this phrase, it's really, I can't sing that, unfortunately, so I'm going to have to play the notes, but I only listen to it once, right? Yeah, that's the chord he's playing, right? There's just no way I could sing that, unfortunately. So I find these notes and decide how he plays it. I think fretting that with a thumb makes more sense for me. That's the chord, right? Yep. That's our chord. So if I write that in, I'm going to hear that as being eighth notes. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm choosing to notate that as eighth notes. Because it's free time, I'm going to stretch the audio to make that work. So I'll write that out. There's our chord, right? Let's listen to how he finishes. So he just repeats it. He plays it twice. Now here's where the magic of Guitar Pro time stretch comes in. So I know that's the melody. Then the chord changes here. That bottom note moves down. Just double checking, but it is the same thing but a semitone lower. Yeah, this whole transcription, this whole piece is just so... Again, the title is Hauntingly Beautiful because it is hauntingly beautiful. It's so lovely. So I'm just going to copy paste that, and then I'm going to use Guitar Pro to move all of the notes down. How's he finish it? Okay, so he's going to go to that top note and he's going to stay on there. So my interpretation of this melody is bar 1, bar 2, bar 3. Now, the way I like to work is I like to get a little bit of the transcription done before I start lining things up. You don't want to be lining things up, one beat at a time or one bar at a time. Having a chunk means that you can have a visualization in your mind, getting things the way you want them to look on the screen, and then you go in and you can do a section. So I'm going to do 4 bars, so it feels like we've got something to actually do. So, got that chord. Yep. Similar chord, but not the same. The real interesting question with stuff like this is, what would we call these chords? There's a lot of room for interpretation on this. These first two, I'm definitely hearing them as like minor, major 9 chords. So it's the same idea. Play it twice, and then so it makes sense. Yeah, it's really funny. Nightbolt, is that Night Blub? My eyesight is terrible. My screen is quite far away now these days. The text is tiny. I can read here, but maybe it's white on black. Harder to read. I don't know. When I wrote Hauntingly Beautiful, I then went, hang on a minute, isn't there a song literally called Haunting something on there? And yeah, there is. So... Okay, so we've got the first 4 bars. Now I'll show you the audio import, how I'm going to use that. So now when I look at my audio file down here, what I tend to do is I tend to listen to just the audio. So I'll come down here and I will isolate just the audio. So when I press play in the file, I'm not hearing the Guitar Pro file, I'm just hearing the audio. And now I can look at the waveform and I can see where that second bar begins for me. I know that it's here in the transcription, but I'm looking for where it starts in the audio. And it's this note here. So if I come down here and I click that, and then click on measure 2 and drag it back, that's going to equally space this bar. But of course, it's not actually equally spaced, right? So again, if I listen to just the audio, here is where the second note happens. Yeah, sorry, the second beat happens. So what I can do is I can double click by this dotted line, and that's going to allow me to stretch just that beat out. Then when I look here, about there, same idea. I can stretch that beat out onto the line. Here. And if you really want to, I know you can put beats within beats like this. So this is going to play that first note very slowly, speeds up a little bit. But what I find is it doesn't need to be perfect, because of course the reason I'm doing this is so that people can watch the transcription go through, and they're not playing it at 10% speed. So that scroll bar doesn't need to be spot on. It just needs to be really close, right? So I did the first bar, and now we look at the second bar. Now this is going to be a little bit trickier because we've got a load of space at the end of the bar, right? So bar 3 begins there. So I'm going to stretch out to where bar 3 begins. And I'm going to go like this, because the last 2 beats has held out. Like this. Same idea here. Go to bar 3, stretch out where bar 4 begins. Which is here. So this can be quite time consuming, right? And with this melody, you could actually hear dum dabble da dum 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 dabble da, like a 8th note, 2 16th notes, but I want it to look like this 8th note pattern. I want us to be able to interpret this when looking at the sheet music in a way that kind of makes sense to the eyes as well as the ears. So we will add the feel with that rubato free time feel to things in our playing. We don't need that level of detail to be in the transcription. So here, sorry. So about there. About there. And then I'll just go to bar 5. Maybe you can see why I don't want to do this bar at a time now, right? About here. Yeah, about there. Okay, cool. So a few other things I do to a transcription like this, I would beam my 8th notes like that, because I deem that to be correctly beamed. And then I'm going to do things like, I'm going to put let ring. And Guitar Pro is a weird one, right? You never put let ring. You need to have breaks between chords. It's kind of like thinking about using a pedal on a piano. You have to release your pedal, and actually you don't release your pedal before you make a chord change. You release it just after you make a chord change. But the idea is still there. You have to lift that pedal up. That sustain doesn't go forever. So it's going to be this. And then if we want some real detail, I'd listen to that transcription and go. You can literally hear his whammy bar. It's like the you can hear the click. My whammy bar's too smooth. You don't get any click from the tremolo bar, but it is there, right? Tiny little bit of whammy bar vibrato. I put it in there because, again, it's this idea of reading, right? Looking at this, if I wanted to interpret this, if I wanted to give this notation to somebody in a way that they might play it and it sound kind of like the recording, I think this is a good representation of that. So the fucking fingerings for these chords is a nightmare, though. So we got. My fat hands can't do this. Does he play that with a thumb? It's a really weird. I think the thumb probably makes a lot more sense. We're not here to listen to my playing, right? The key thing now, though, is when I unmute the audio and I press play on this, where we hear the Guitar Pro audio with the audio in the file, they should be pretty lined up. It obviously needs to be much quieter than that. That was the mistake I made. You know, it's not perfect, but it's close enough for a free time thing. And I think that's much better than trying to, imagine a bit. Some people might notate this and go, "Oh, well, that was a bar of 5/4 because he held this note a little bit longer." And it's just not really the way to do it, right? Big bone fingers, yeah. Sorry, let me read some comments. Honestly, say after attempting, amazing, happy birthday of the year. Yeah, everyone has that ability. Not everyone has that ability. That is true. If you really care about this stuff, you might put like little fermatas on these, which means you hold the note. Now, this isn't going to, because we've got this information in the transcription, in the audio import feature, none of that is going to, the fact that there's a fermata on here won't actually put a fermata in the piece because the time stretch in the audio is doing that. But I think, again, the idea of me playing that would be... Let's try this. Sliding with your thumb is hard. I literally just can't make those thumb shifts. Yeah, let's try again. That's it, right? That'll do the job, right? I think that's pretty accurate. Fingering that is an absolute nightmare. You should give it a go. So I'll show you what I'm doing. Actually, let me bring up my face. I'll move back from the camera so you can see the thumb. I find that a lot easier than trying to fret that correctly. Traditionally would be the better way of putting it, if that makes sense. So let's come back. Right, so we've done a little bit. Let's keep going. We've done 4 bars. This is interesting. Okay, so we've got... harmonic there. Okay, so here we have a phrase, and it's a chord. It's not going to be playing it like this. I need to find the notes, then work out how he's voicing it. I guess he could be. Would he play that? Would Scott do that? Could do it like that. Yeah, I think this. Beautiful chords. So if you listen to it, he plays the phrase, which is he plays the chord, and he does it 3 times before the chord change happens. So to me, that's an idea that lasts for a bar. but there's no getting around the fact that I don't want to make them triplets. Technically, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But we're not feeling 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... It's still 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and... So I need to change the bar length here. So I'm going to make this a bar of 6/4. 6/4, and I will beam it. I want to beam it in grouped 4s, like that. And then we're back to a 4/4. Let's work the chord out. Again, just what a beautiful chord. Now this is back to, like I say, 4/4, and I, for me personally, if I had any say over this, if I had any say over Guitar Pro, when I put free time in like this, I would have a setting in preferences in Guitar Pro that would allow you, when you're in free time, to hide time signatures, because I don't think it's beneficial to the player in this instance to be able to see 6/4 going to 4/4. When I see this bar, you know, it's free time. I don't need you to tell me that's 6/4. I can see that that's 6/4. You know what I mean? I think the time signatures just kind of mess things up a little bit. Do I think that he's thinking chords or rather in voices moving around? It feels like voices moving around. Though saying that, like, obviously Scott's approach to harmony, Scott's understanding of harmony is of that weather report sound, that weather report thing. Of course, he played with Joe Zawinul for a long time, and I'm sure that will have been an influence on the way he thinks about harmony. You can hear in Scott's early playing that he was definitely a Holdsworth fan as well. But of course, he has educational materials. I've helped put some of them together. He has educational materials on he has his famous chord book, the Musicians Institute chord book, where he does deal in a lot of triads and bass notes. I'm finding all of that stuff fascinating, to be honest. Not his approach. I mean, I understand his approach, but he's essentially doing what pianists do. He's trying to do what pianists do, and you can't do it, unfortunately. Like, I'll give you a fun example, because the more I learn piano, the more fascinated I am by it. Right? If I play, what chord shall I play here? Let's go. Yeah. So if I play this chord, followed by this chord, followed by this chord, there's no real sense of harmony to that, is there? Like, what chord progression am I playing there? But when I flesh those out with harmony in the left hand, well, this, it's a minor 11 chord. This, I'm playing an A flat minor triad over a G7. And then let's go. So what sounded dissonant doesn't sound like a 2-5-1, but as soon as I go, and I think a lot of Scott's approach is like that. He's thinking of the upper structure triad, or the upper structure chord. He likes playing around with those because he knows he's a competent enough theorist that he can have the bass player play what he needs. He can write in the keyboard parts, so he just deals in upper structure stuff. But of course, you could name all of these chords. Like if I look at this and go, so what would I call this? I have to be honest with myself and go. It's like not really, it's like a quartal voicing. Then you could see that and go, okay, well, it's like an F11 with the fourth in the bass. Like it's not hugely practical, thinking it was like a B flat major sound with the fourth. Technically like B flat major, you could never really want to say B flat major 11. B flat major 7 add 11, I add 4. Tricky, right? And then that fucking camera started following my face, hasn't it? Stupid cameras that follow your face, stupid fancy cameras. Don't track me. I don't want you to track me, camera. When I hear that note on top, it wants to move up. That, to my ears, makes that like a 7th of a chord. So this looks and sounds to me like a G flat major 7 over A. Or F sharp minor 7, F sharp major 7 over A. If I played like on my piano, if I play, how do we want to voice this? The beauty of it's got like that quality to it. I think that's how I'm hearing that. Who the fuck knows, right? Yeah, bingo. The wide intervals they throw it for a loop. Same principle here, right? He plays this chord 3 times. So he's jumping down. Three times. And of course that means we need to make it bar 6/4. Got to put my beaming in the way I like it. There's a harmonic at the end of this, which is cool. Now this chord, this makes sense to me as a chord, because I can hear a triad. It's a C sharp major triad over a D bass. I will read that comment in a second, buddy. I don't know how Scott likes to do his harmonics. Even. So we write that out. So I'm going to write this as let me just double check that. There's just no good way. There's no. Yeah, there's no solid C sharp harmonic, so it is definitely the artificial harmonic there. Nope. And then. But he's actually he's holding holds the artificial harmonic, so so now we space it out. Put our let rings in. Not the last note. Let ring the whole thing. And then I read your comment. So, oh my God, Levi, it's Levi. Usually I don't like tab and transcriptions. This live thingy is so fun and evolving. It's like active practice. That's the idea of these, dude. I've always thought that this is a good way to learn, for me to walk you through all the mental stuff that's going on in my brain when I'm doing this, how I'm hearing, how I'm processing rhythm. Yeah, so now I have to go back and line up all the Guitar Pro audio. So let's just quickly do that. So the bar comes in here. We go. And when I'm not having to be entertaining, I can do this faster. Whammy bar, of course. And then 6 beats. Bar is there. We're going to do it like this. Like that. Okay, now everything should line up now. Right, what we got? Love my YouTube shorts. The other guitarist. I don't like to be that guy, Art. I used to be that guy. But sometimes he made the mistake, didn't he, with that? He made the mistake. Let me do this. He made the mistake. Because guess what? I have YouTube Premium, okay? I don't see adverts for shit that I don't want to buy. So it's not of a concern to me. I don't have YouTube Premium on Facebook, so I see ads on Facebook, but I don't click on ads, right? So I see guitar ads all the time, but it's fine. I'll just scroll past them. But of course, if you want to make an ad, if you want to do something that's going to grab people's attention when they don't have sound on, you want subtitles on screen. And if he had said anything first in his video, other than guitar playing is a sport, I was scrolling through Facebook, and I wait, hang on, did I see that correctly? Scroll back up and was like, guitar playing is a sport. I'm like, well, this is what will happen if you advertise to everybody. Sometimes somebody that you really don't want to see the ad is going to see it, and sometimes that person's going to say something. So here I am saying something, or there I was saying something. So glad you enjoyed it. Let me come back here. Yeah, I primarily always think of myself as an educator, but to a lesser degree, entertainer. Right? I do want to make people laugh. I want to make them think. I want to make people enjoy the whole guitar playing thing. So if I brought a little bit of joy into your life, then it was worth it. Right, what have we got? Still using the FM9. The FM9 is fantastic, yeah, Russell. Absolutely fantastic. I'm still using the FM9. Right, let me check the audio for this. So, I'm okay with that. Right, now let's get into the meat and potatoes. Now when he really starts playing. So we're 20 seconds into a nearly 5-minute track. So you get how this goes. In fact, if you're enjoying what you're watching, then why don't you consider heading on over to my Patreon? There's a link in the description. You can support my channel for as little as $1. As little as $1. But, you know, the more you give, the more you get. And the things that you would get are, as you can see, hundreds of transcriptions, literally hundreds of transcriptions that I've uploaded to YouTube. You can get on over there. You can get access to my ear training videos. You can get access to my weekly guided practice routines. If you think you can keep up with my practice routine, come on. Put your money where your mouth is. Do it. Do it. I dare you. I'm filming one of those tomorrow. It's a load of diminished stuff. So, yeah, that'll be fun for my patrons. They get those every Monday morning at 9 a.m. There's a new guided practice routine for them to check out. You can even have private lesson. I've put lesson rather than lessons. You can have private lessons and much more. So do consider joining now. And you can also actually, I've just recently uploaded all of my guitar profiles for all of my books. They are in my store on my Patreon page. So again, check out the link in the description. They're like $6. You know, who can't support me with $6 for all of this love and hard work that I put into music and entertainment for you guys. So do consider it. Every little helps. Yeah, get some thumbs up for this fella, or just share the stream, or support him on Patreon. Thumbs are great. I am happy with the thumbs. I was going to say I'm happier if you support me on Patreon. It's not true. I mean, I am, but if you want to share the videos, it's all very much appreciated. It all helps. So a phrase like this really begins here and ends when the next phrase starts, right? Or the next part of the phrase starts. If I look at this, and I'm perceiving this as a stream of eighth notes, right? With a free time feel to it. I'm still feeling, I would still write this as a stream of eighth notes. The problem is in the phrase length. So when I look at the first part of this, this is... So I'll just write it out, right? I'm sure he plays it like that. Oh, he might... He might actually be playing this lower, because that bottom note doesn't ring out, but we'll sort that in a second. Let's try. Yeah, play it down there. I said with such confidence that it was down there, and then, yeah. Anyway, first part of the phrase, right? 1 and 2 and... Oh, that's... That's tricky. That's... that presents a problem. So we'll look at other ways that this might be played. I've got another way in my mind that he might be playing this. But I'm just worrying about the notes first, right? Here's the problem for me, right? These are slide. There's one more note after this. It's... And then the next note happens. So there's no getting around this. have to realistically write this as a bar of 9/8, or it's not going to look right on the page to me, right? There is another way that you could do it, which would be you could write it as a bar of 4/4 like this, and then you would have a tuplet here, so 5 in the space of 4, which would be this. But I don't like this, because while this fits in a bar of 4/4, the change of rhythm between an eighth note and a quintuplet eighth note suggests that this accelerates, that it gets faster, and it just doesn't. It doesn't get faster if anything, it's getting slower, right? So I kind of have to write this as bar of 9/8. But it's not your traditional 9/8 because I'm going to set my beaming the way I want it to be, which is a group of 4 followed by a group of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how he's phrasing that, if that makes sense. So let's consider the other way that this might be played. So I've got it with an A down here. But you can play an open A and then do this. And then we would go... it's just really hard to say. And these fifths sounded like they were strummed. So that now I'm looking at that, I'm like, well, doesn't make sense that we would jump from the 15 here. So it's like, okay, if we're not playing 15 there, then we're playing 10 here, but we're not going to play 14, 10, 12. We could. That's totally possible, but... and I can also hear that shift. So I actually think he's down here. I do think he's there. We get that shift. And then maybe we jump up to the 8. And then it's a fifth. Yeah, it's going to have to be that, right? But then let's listen to that transition from this 8 to this fifth here. It's staccato, right? He doesn't hold that note as long as he can. So, yeah, I'm very much inclined to write that as that. So that's my bar, and then... now we've got 2 notes, and this is the second principle of ear training. You have to be able to listen to that and hear that there are 2 notes. I don't want to play it like that, though. So I'm just going to write. Nope. Now I might be able to shift back to 4/4. We'll see why. as long as we're getting the notes down, we can always adjust bar lengths when we've got it down. So as long as we're moving forward. So how do we finger this? We go. I'm going to make this bar 4/4 for a second. What I'm hoping for is I'm going to transcribe this phrase, and then I'm going to be able to look at it and go, oh yeah, okay, we can put that in a bar of all of that in bars of 4/4. But phrasing wise, this feels like a group of 4, a group of 5, which is why again I would rather in Guitar Pro, if anyone at Guitar Pro ever listens to me, when I put it in free time, I should be able to put as many notes as I like in a bar, because that's the way it should be. Oh, you fucker. How the hell is he doing that? So now I have to go this is a nightmare, man. So I'll sort the fingering out, don't worry. Open string there for sure. So we definitely know this is where the chord ends up, right? This is our chord. So I want this to fall on the beat. There's no fight in that one. That for me needs to fall on the beat because it's my chord, right? We go and 1 and 2 and. So much like the rest of the piece. So this bar needs to be a bar 6, right? So I come in here, make this bar 6. And we end up with these transcriptions where we just hate the way they look. Even though they're accurate, you just hate the way they look. So beam these in 4s. Copy these like that. So that. Oh, it was 5. No, what, 5? Yeah, 5. Sorry, not 6. I'll manually beam, depending on how I like the way I want it to look. Now I feel like an idiot because I listened to more, so we're going to go back to 4. Because while I want that to line up, there's just 2 notes after this. And then we have that chord there to end. Okay, so. Okay, so the hellish part of getting the notes is done. Now we just got Now we just got to get the fingering, so we're confident that it's playable with the fingering. So I'm all right with the start. Maybe that's up there. That would make sense, right? So we go. This is the sort of thing where if you're transcribing, like you're doing a job for someone, you have the luxury of being able to sit down with them and say, right, I've got the transcription, I'm confident with the notes, let's talk about how you finger this. No, but that's definitely that. I guess you could do that. Yeah, okay. Oh, it's all gone to shit. It's all Oh, this is... Okay, so if this fifth is there, and it stands to reason that this makes sense, this makes sense. Does that make more sense? That makes sense. So it has to be how we lead into this has to be corrected. So I think... Yeah, actually, I think the way I had it before does stand to reason. What do we have? This? Yeah. It's just... Who comes up with this stuff? All right, let me try and play it. Slow it down. We've got the right notes. We have to get the Hendersonism here, which is we have the whammy bar and we do the little tug up as it slides down, like that. Oh yeah, absolutely. The idea, like the natural harmonic thing. Yeah. Oh, fucking tell me about it. Tell me about it. All right, let's just get the thing. Let's get this to line up. So, I'm gonna put another bar in there. Am I? No, it probably doesn't need it. Put a fermata on that. Where's my zoom? Like this. Okay, now And for stuff like this, when things get a little bit faster, and again, here's a nice little tip for you. If you come up here into the speed control, put the speed down to maybe 60%. Now when I look here, and I'm just looking for this chord stab in my audio down here. So we go. It's there, right? So this is going to be where I want that bar to be. So there, and now I can check my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, each. So we've got measurements for each of the beats. So I can do that. I can just make these line up. I can just hit the transients. Same here, so I'm going to line this bar up with the pull on the whammy bar, which is there. And now there's a pull off there, isn't it? Okay, so again, would just be fascinated to know how he's doing this. So if we put that in like that now, it's going to line up, right? I take the speed changer off. There we go. So we are now an hour and 15 minutes in, and we have achieved 30 seconds of a 5-minute transcription. So I would obviously be working at this much faster if I wasn't talking, trying to entertain you guys. But all in, you know, a job like this, if somebody wanted to pay me to transcribe a 5-minute track like this, you're probably looking at like £150, because I'm expecting to put maybe four or so, maybe 5 hours into it, to get this whole thing done, with all the umming and ahhing about fingerings and getting the guitar profile to line up and play back. But yeah, I like where we're going. I like the direction. Right, now let's listen to another phrase. You know what I'm actually going to do? I'm going to shut up. Okay, I'm going to just shut up and press play, because I've called this Hauntingly Beautiful, and we've only heard 30 seconds of it, so let's listen to it a bit more. it's like while I'm listening to it, he keeps doing these things like. Playing it there, yeah. So this makes sense to me. Then I heard him play this, and then you expect. Whatever it is that you expect, and he doesn't. It's just. Oh, so I've lost it now. I pressed the wrong button. Point is, like, while I'm listening to that, it's just there's all these things that I recognise, things that I'm like, yeah, I've heard that played a million times before. I know how he does that. But then he always does something with it afterwards where you're like, where did that come from? That's beautiful. Well done, sir. So I want all that. So let's do the second phrase, or not the second phrase, but let's continue. This is a second inversion major chord. Here it's the second inversion major chord, just deciding where it's played, right? So it's D over A. Now we're doing harmony that I can tell you about. I'm getting no. You're also getting no sound on that, are you? I don't know why the sound has stopped on Guitar Pro. Quality software. This. Let me I'll bring my face up. I'll save it, close it, and reopen it. That tends to always give it a boot up the arse. Of course, I'm going to save this in my Patreon because this is a Patreon thing, and it's Scott Henderson Green Mansion. Right, try closing it. Try reopening it. And we'll see if we have audio. Scott Henderson Green Mansion. Nope. Press play and the audio immediately stops. Quality software. Quality software. You know what they say? Just buy a Mac because they just work, right? Okay, so it's playing that. So if we go File, Open, Recent, Scott Henderson. I don't know what the problem is. It plays other Guitar Pro files. It doesn't want this one to play. I can't see your. Oh, okay, I can see. I've put the master down in the file. Sometimes it's a case of quality software. Other times it's a case of idiot operator. Right, so I just wanted to point out here, I've used this arpeggiate symbol, and here I've just used a strum symbol, and it's the difference between, to me, this, where you really are plucking each note, versus this, which is a pick, a strum. So I guess it's like a finger style thing versus an actual strum. Why I've decided to do that. Turn that up a bit. It's a really nice, just, what do we think of this? We think D, or how do we process this? To me, I'm thinking D over A. This is a G major 7 over A, which in turn means A 13 sus. Very nice. So we played this is weird, like notating this is a pain because I'm hearing but I don't want to put a shuffle feel in da 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 da. But at the same time, does it feel right to notate it in a way that people might pay? I think I prefer the way it looks, so I'm going to do that. Tricky to hear chords like this, but the fact that he arpeggiates them really helps. Of course, chord voicings, like the more you learn chord voicings on an instrument, the easier it becomes when you hear them for you to immediately go, he's playing that. Yeah, these would make sense. Now we're getting into the territory of stuff that I can play. The tricky part with stuff like this is deciding for yourself where the beat is. Perceiving that beat. Because here, now it feels like a 12/8 thing. Nope. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Yeah, I'm okay with that beat being there, right? So I'll actually put that in the transcription file in Transcribe. Now I'm going to stop there because I promise you I'm not going to transcribe that far. My dinner's going to be on the table in 13 minutes, so. So we go. Yeah, so now is the first time I would probably comfortably put 16th notes in the piece. Like that. One, two, three, four, and 1, 2. Yeah, so now we've got. I probably wouldn't shift out of free time, but maybe I will. Actually, it really feels like it shifts out of free time at this point, doesn't it? So I'm going to get rid of free time here. Now this, as I say, this is the fusion that I can get on board with because I know what this means. D over A, G major 7, A minor, this is like, I always think of this as being like a G add 9 first inversion. Beautiful. Then we keep writing. Yeah, there's a B in there. Okay, so I've got it. Really doing my best to listen. Yeah. So we'll go. So it'd be minus 7, right? Now, really working out where we want to place these beats. So this, I'd actually perceive this as being on the beat, and it's that arpeggiated thing that you see in classical guitar stuff. So we've gone. How do I want to do this? Yeah, we'll do it the way I don't like the way it looks. My transcription, and yeah, I'm choosing to do it the way I don't like the way it looked. works on the page, but why would you give me a C double flat? So this is again second inversion major chord, D over A. It's always a pleasure transcribing Scott. Going back to my roots. Just seeing if I got a C or a D in there. Yeah, that's cool. I can't, like, there's so much chaos happening. It's like I can't decide what the bass note is on this one. We can hear the. Here's a G sharp. Yeah, I think wild chord. Got this. G minor 7. Oh, we're nearly leaving. We're nearly leaving. A few more minutes, guys. Nice, yeah. That's right, we're gonna stop there. I say stop, I'm gonna now just gonna line up all the audio, so this shouldn't really take long. Let's do that. Oh Christ, where does it start? So there. Told you it wouldn't take long. There's, yeah, it goes back down to the we'll just put this one chord. Yeah, we'll just put an F major in there. I'll revisit this. It's arpeggiated through. Okay, now, if I go back to the start of the piece, I should be able to do a play along. Hi, guitar guy Nick. I'm doing great, thank you. Alexi, Scott Henderson in Finland next month. Yep, Scott Henderson in London for me. Right, so if I press play on this, this should be synced up, and we did all of 24 bars in an hour and a half. I hope you had a good time. I'm actually undecided on this. I still kind of think that makes sense from a harmony perspective. And there's a few things that I noted while I was doing this, like because I rushed through this. If I put this on solo, you really want to do this, right? And these kind of now I do want to go. This doesn't line up quite right. So I want that to be a little bit faster. Ugh. Same here. That's too late. Anyway, you get the idea. So that has been my stream. I hope you have enjoyed it. Everyone's fucked off now. You've had enough 2 hours of me talking nonsense about music. I thought it was a good idea. Hopefully you had some fun doing it. And if you did, head on over to my Patreon page. You can get access to hundreds of transcriptions. I'll put this up when I'm done with it. Ear training videos, weekly guided practice routines, private lesson, singular, and much more. So join now, link in the description. It is a good use of your time. Lots of great people over there. It's a good community of people, and I'm sure you will. I'm sure you'll enjoy being part of it. And you can also check out the complete guitar profiles. They're all available on my Patreon page in the store. So head on over there. Maybe you want to pick up some of the audio. Nope, let's try that again. Maybe you want to pick up the guitar profiles for some of my best-selling books, including all 3 of my guided practice routine books. I've got a new book coming out in 2 weeks' time, and I'll put the guitar profiles up there when that goes up. So check it out. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. I've got to record promo videos for that tomorrow, so that's going to be fun. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Much love. I've been Levi Clay. You've been awesome, and I will see you for another video soon. Goodbye.